London, my second favorite city in the world, the capital of Great Britain, a city that was once the heart of an empire where the sun never set, a city that has survived fires, plagues and bombings, and still kept growing. Here, the old and the new stand side by side, medieval towers next to glass skyscrapers, royal palaces next to busy pubs, traditions next to constant change. And that's what makes London so alive. You never really finish exploring it. This is my second time here, and I will not tell you about every single landmark or repeat the guidebook stories. Instead, I just want to share my journey. I started my walk right by the Thames, the river that made this city possible. Everything in London begins here. The first thing you see is Tower Bridge. It looks medieval, but it's not. It was opened in 1894, at the height of the Victorian Age, when London was the busiest port in the world. What's interesting is that it still opens up today, lifting the road in the middle to let big ships pass. You can stand here and imagine the days when steamers, cargo ships and even warships sailed under it. Next to it is something much older, the Tower of London, built by William the Conqueror almost 1,000 years ago. It was a fortress, then a prison, even a zoo. Today it holds the crown jewels, but for centuries it held prisoners who never came out. The saying goes, if the ravens ever leave the tower, the kingdom will fall, so they keep real ravens here, just in case. From there I kept walking into the city of London, not the whole city, but the square mile. This is the original London, the Roman Londinium. The streets here are narrow, winding and confusing, nothing like the big boulevards of Paris or New York, but that's the charm. You can feel the layers of history with every step. The city is where London became a world of money and trade. Coffee houses here turned into banks and insurance markets. Lloyd's of London started from a coffee house where merchants would meet, drink and share news of ships. That's how the modern insurance industry was born, all because of gossip over coffee. Walking around, you see old churches by Christopher Wren, built after the Great Fire of 1666. That fire destroyed most of medieval London in just 4 days. It was a disaster, but also a rebirth. The new city was built in brick and stone, stronger than before. And then you lift your eyes and the modern skyline appears. The gherkin, the cheese grater and the walkie-talkie, skyscrapers with funny nicknames that grew right in the middle of these century-old streets. It's like London never chose one face. It just keep adding new layers on top of the old. That's how my walk began, between the river and the towers, between past and present, in the very heart of London.
Cost me so much space. It's just when I thought I'd given more than would a fool, I stopped.
The next step is Trafalgar Square, London's big public stage. Artists were set up near the fountains, street performers keeping the crowd entertained. And right now I can see a group of rollerbladers weaving through the square.
Hey. Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh. Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I me feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Fuck with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom, boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that I'm on it.
From there, I walked down Whitehall toward Westminster, filming the gates of Downing Street, where the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, as of 2025, lives at number 10. A few more steps and the Parliament buildings come into view. That famous clock tower everyone calls Big Ben. Actually, that's the Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is a giant bell inside, 13 tons of metal, and it's been ringing every hour since 1859. Right next to it is Westminster Abbey. This place is incredible. Almost 1,000 years of history in one building. Kings and queens crowned here, but also scientists like Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, and writers like Dickens and Kipling. Walking past the tombs, you can almost feel how many stories are stacked in the walls, all shaping the history of Britain. So much of the country's history and politics is packed into this short walk from Trafalgar Square to the river. Next, we moved to one of my favorite neighborhoods in London, Belgravia. It really started being built up in the 19th century, and today it's one of the top areas in the city for homes and flats worth over £5 million. Right now, I'm walking through one of the most expensive parts of it, a place called Eaton Square. Big white houses, quiet streets, and fancy cars parked outside. On the other side, there is a garden, but you can only get in if you live here and have a special key. Many of these apartments belong to wealthy people from all over the world, old British families, investors from the Middle East, China, and a few Russians. At the same time, a lot of the houses have stayed in the same families for generations. A few fun facts about Belgravia. It was designed by a Grosvenor family and has stayed under their influence for centuries. The streets and squares were planned to be uniform and elegant, which is why it still looks so timeless. Some of the houses were even used for secret offices during World War II, hiding intelligence work right under the city's nose. Another beautiful street is Elizabeth Street. A few nice stores and cafes line the road, all decorated with flowers. It feels elegant and just a lovely place to walk. Belgravia has had its share of famous residents. Brian Epstein, the Beatles manager, lived nearby on Chapel Street. Mozart stayed here as a child when he performed in London. Over the years, politicians, actors, producers and quiet billionaires have all lived behind these white doors. Some of the quietest corners are the Mews Street, tiny lanes that used to be stables. Now they are converted into houses that cost a fortune, tucked behind the main terraces. Walking through them, you really get a sense of how private and exclusive this place is. Walking these streets, you feel the contrast with the rest of the city. It's quiet, almost like a private village, elegant, calm and real, right in the middle of London.
So, like it's been said, the morning starts from coffee. So let's go try to find the best coffee in the city. I think it's not a difficult problem. It's actually not so easy to find the open coffee shop on the next day after Easter. I visited like 5 places, 5 coffee shops, and everything were closed. But I made it. Found one. Look what the beautiful place I found. I think I'll drink coffee right here. Nice benches.
downtown London feels like a different city compared to Belgravia. Here the streets are tight, the buildings shoot straight up, and the glass towers catch every bit of light. This area is called the City of London, the old square mile that had been the financial heart of the capital for centuries. Narrow lanes from medieval times still wind between skyscrapers. You can see a church built in the 17th century standing next to a piece of modern architecture made of steel and glass. I like starting near Leadenhall market with its iron and glass roof from the 19th century. Now it's full of cafes and shops, but you can still picture it as the old meat market it once was. One building I always stop at is the Lloyd's building on Lime Street. It looks like it was built inside out, with all the pipes, lifts and staircase showing on the outside like a giant piece of machinery.
When I saw this building first time, I thought it's like beer brewery or maybe some sort of distillery, I don't know. Some factory that makes alcohol. But it's more easier, it's more simple, it's just an office space. But it looks futuristic, I love it.
Architect Richard Rogers designed it in the 1980s, and it became a landmark of high-tech architecture. Lloyd's has been the center of marine and specialty insurance for over 300 years, and the building keeps a tradition. In the middle there is a quiet room with a luton bell, which they used to ring when a ship was lost at sea, and again when news of its fate finally arrived. And right above ground, the skyline keeps changing faster than almost anywhere else in Europe. More than half of tall buildings you see today didn't exist 20 years ago. Developers call it the vertical boom, and every year new towers push higher, while right next to them you still have churches that survived the Great Fire and the Blitz.
There is something special about the way how different architectural styles and centuries blend in this place together. I love it.
No other city mixes centuries like this so tightly. You can stand on a Roman road, look at a medieval spire and see a 21st century skyscraper in a single glance. London also runs on rituals that are older than the United States. The Lord's Mayor Show has been marching through the streets for over 800 years without a break, even during wars and plagues. And every single night, the small ceremony of the keys still locks the Tower of London at exactly the same time it has for centuries, proof that tradition here never really sleeps. And a few words about the subway. Forget the sightseeing for a minute. If you want to know what makes London really tick, you have to go down, deep down. We are talking about London Underground. But look, don't call it that. If you're here, you call it the Tube. And it's not just a train, it's 160 years of history, packed into a dark, slightly sweaty tunnel. Get this, the first line opened in 1863. Imagine the Victorians, in their top hats and dresses, stepping into a revolutionary steam-powered subway. It was a massive, insane engineering feat. They literally dug up the city streets, built a tunnel and covered it back up. That's how the first lines were made. Now, why the name Tube? Because when they started digging deeper, like 100 feet deeper, the tunnels they drilled were perfectly cylindrical. You step on that train, you are in the metal cylinder, hurtling through the dark. That's the real Tube experience. It's also one of the great design icons. That perfect circle with a blue bar, the roundel, is one of the most recognizable logos in the world. And the map, an abstract masterpiece that makes navigating one of the biggest cities on earth look simple. And listen, it's tough, it's busy, you are going to be shoulder to shoulder with thousands of people every day. But it's the place where London breathes, where every student, banker and tourist meets on common ground. So as you step off, just remember that phrase, mind the gap. It's not just a warning, it's a tiny piece of history guiding you through the heartbeat of London. After exploring London's historic centre, all the royal palaces and cobblestone streets, I've journeyed east to check out London's sleek, high-rise financial heart, Canary Wharf. With its cluster of towering skyscrapers and glass architecture, it's rightfully earned the nickname Manhattan on Thames. It's a stunning, ambitious piece of urban planning, but its real story is a radical tale of reinvention that few other places in London can match. You see, this skyline sits right on the Isle of Dogs, and just a few decades ago, this entire area was an industrial ghost town. This used to be the West India Docks, once the central artery of global trade, with ships importing huge consignments of rum, sugar and spices. Fun fact, the name Canary Wharf actually comes from the ships that would arrive here from the Canary Islands. When cargo containerization made these traditional docks obsolete, they shut down completely in 1980. It took incredible vision and massive investment to transform that derelict wasteland into this financial powerhouse. To understand the sheer technical effort involved here, you have to talk about transport. This district isn't just connected by the DLR and the West Elizabeth Line station, it's also ruled by the sky. London City Airport is just down the road, and its strict flight path regulations dictate how tall buildings can be here. In fact, the famous pyramid on the first skyscraper had to be physically lowered from its original design because it was in the way of incoming planes. But the true triumph of Canary Wharf is that it's grown into more than just a business park. Step inside the glass towers and you find a fully integrated urban destination built for life. It's a pedestrian sanctuary with the beautiful green spaces, like the rooftop gardens of Jubilee Park, and it holds London's largest collection of outdoor public art. This is what a truly modern city looks like: high-tech, green and completely integrated. It's the ultimate statement of London's global ambition, proving the city will always build upward and build better for the future. From Canary Wharf, all glass, steel and finance, I crossed the city back to the Thames. Just by Parliament, the mood shifts. There is a lone wall covered in thousands of red hearts, each one hand-painted. Each one for a life lost during the pandemic. It's quiet here, heavy, but also human. And as the sun sets behind Big Ben, London reminds you, it's not only about business and history, it's also about memory.